There'll be fantasy video games. Hello and welcome to the Bottled Imp Show. My name is Ken and this High Dragon of the Celestial Order is Liam Cullen.
And you're watching the Bottled Imp.
Exploring the realms of fantasy. Is it though? Is that really your name?
I believe so.
Are you
sure?
So.
Yeah.
How do you pronounce it?
Cullen.
I always get it wrong, don't I?
You do.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
But anyway, hopefully I can redeem myself. Thank you so much for joining us. As well as being the High Dragon of the Celestial Order.
Indeed.
You are also an art director, aren't you?
I am in the video games industry.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's not just some random bloke just walking off the street. Well, no. No, you're not, are you? You work for...
I work for a company called Perchang.
Perchang,
exactly.
And
we've recently just been working on Warhammer Quest 2, The End Times.
The End Times.
Yep. Out now on iOS and Android platforms and coming to a PC near you soon.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Nicely plugged there. I like that.
You're welcome.
Good stuff. Yeah, because that came out about a year ago, was it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. And we've been supporting it since then with new content, new areas, new playable characters,
new updates.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So that's good. Excellent. So yeah, check it out. Warhammer Quest 2.
The End Times.
Always forget that bit. Yeah, because it's a huge universe, isn't it?
It is.
It's massive.
Yes, yeah. So it takes place in Games Workshop's kind of huge Warhammer
Back garden.
universe. Back garden, yeah, up in Nottingham.
Yeah, in their shed.
There's a little more to it than that.
Yeah.
But,
you go through like a portal.
Yeah.
No, excellent. Yeah, because it's probably about 35 years old now, isn't it? 40?
Yeah, pretty
same
much.
As Talisman, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, around that sort of time. Yeah. And it's just been ever expanding since then.
Yeah.
Going through different cataclysms and...
so have you been a fan of it ever since it came out? Is that...
I wasn't born, so no. But yeah, it's one of those things that's been around kind of as long as I can remember. And I kind of got into it through kind of the more softer areas like Hero Quest and those sorts of board games. And then got into it a little bit more from that.
See, it's funny. I've never got into Warhammer. I've always known it's there.
It's okay. It doesn't necessarily make you a terrible person.
I know, but I do feel shameful. I'm doing a channel about, and that's probably one of the biggest things in fantasy, isn't it? Like World of Warcraft, I never got into that either. But I think it's possibly the fact that you do have to invest so much time. You know, so when you have Warhammer, there's so many different realms of it, isn't there? There's so many. I mean, can you just jump in?
It is, yes, yeah. And I think because what they've done is they've established this large universe now. That within that you now have different games and different focuses, so you don't have to know the entire lore. There are quick kind of games that you can jump into.
Right.
There's the whole kind of Warhammer Fantasy, or Age of Sigmar as it's known now, which is more the tabletop game where you start collecting your army units. Or there's things like Warhammer Quest, which are more standalone games.
Yes.
Just happen to be set within that.
No, that's interesting because I did actually, I have got and played, and I do want to. I don't think I did a review of it, but Warhammer Quest 2, the card game. That was really good.
Yeah,
that's really good. I was very impressed by that.
Yeah.
So there you go. So just as a little treat, I got you some Welsh cakes because I know you're Welsh.
No, but
but Liam,
thank you. Yeah.
Cullen?
Yeah, the Irish name.
Is it Irish?
Yes.
Because I also thought you were Scottish, so I got you some shortbread.
Oh, I was hoping that was going to be Scotch, which would be slightly offensive at the same time. Very much welcomed. But shortbread's good.
The budget doesn't.
No.
I know Rich got a bottle of whiskey, but you know he did stuff for us for free. So there you go. But so I
Thank you very much.
Do you like shortbread?
I do, but I'll maybe save it for off camera.
Okay.
Fair
enough. Cool. Good stuff. So I think what we're going to be doing is let's talk about some video games, fancy video games.
Yes.
Because You're a big fan, aren't you?
I do.
And you gave me a
list
list
of the video games. Yes.
Yeah, you gave me a list because we was thinking about the video games. Obviously, you're in the video game industry. You do art direction. You do the characters, don't you?
I do the characters now. I kind of started off doing the environments and just through necessity. Because we're a very small company at Perchang. There were only 2 artists.
Right.
And we both did environments, and we kind of tossed a coin and went, well, you do characters this time.
Oh, but characters are really interesting.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. Wonderful, did you say?
I said wonderful, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think we've been putting up some images on there that came up of Warhammer Quest.
Cool.
Yeah, and so, but tell me about, I've got a list here, the first one here on the list.
Oh, okay. Well, I think this is maybe jumping ahead a little bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Whoa, even before 1982? When were you born?
Well, so I was born in 81, but fantasy are kind of, and video games, they're kind of intertwined, and I think without the genre of fantasy, we probably wouldn't have video games as we know them today.
No.
I think there might be sci-fi and so forth, but really, not just fantasy, but in particular, Dungeons and Dragons, I think has been probably the biggest influence on video games since their creation. So that obviously came out in
1975, 73,
4.
There we go.
Very good.
I
thought I was going to stump you with that.
No.
And kind of off the back of that, this was around the start of kind of computing in universities, not necessarily home computing, but kind of starting to take shape as we would know it with monitors and things. And a chap called Willie Crowther was a programmer, and he divorced his wife. And so to entertain his daughters when they came over, rather than kind of get them playing Dungeons and Dragons,
to them.
Well, he created a video game which he called Adventure, rather creatively.
Okay.
Which was a text-based game, so it
I
brought
might
up
have played that.
probably.
Is it on the Spectrum?
Yes, it would have been ported.
I played that.
Yeah, but this was 1975, and was inspired by Dungeons and Dragons.
Did I then?
Maybe.
Anyway,
but so it was text-based, so you would have a block of text giving you a little description, and you would key in very simple commands. So, like, you come to a fork in the road. Do you want to go west or east?
But that was sort of like the fighting fantasy books as well.
Well, this is the thing.
Then
so
they kind of ran along at the same sort of time, didn't they?
And I would be quite interested to know how much of an influence these types of games had on people like Steve Jackson and Livingstone.
Massive, yeah. I would imagine they did.
But they must have been aware of it. War of Fire Top Mountain came out in 82, and then you had the Spectrum port in 84. So. It was
The
Hobbit, yeah.
The Hobbit. Now, is that a particularly interesting game to you? Is that one that really captivated you?
I think it was in 82, yeah. So I think this was kind of around the height of this kind of text adventure genre. And I think up until this point, video games have been influenced by kind of The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings and Dungeons and Dragons. But I think this marked the first big introduction of an actual licensed game in there,
of course,
and actually brought something new to it. Yes,
because that was very much text based as well, though.
It was, again,
and it had a few little graphics.
Yep,
but really compelling.
Yes,
and of course, back in the day, we didn't know any better.
No, well, we couldn't do any better. I mean, we had arcade machines at this point, which were doing things like Space Invaders, so we're a bit more flashy with the graphics. But in terms of the depth of the gameplay. They didn't really expand on that.
But I used to spend hours on The Hobbit, and there was another one for the Spectrum. It might have been The Adventure though, but that seems too early. But unless they repackaged it for the Spectrum.
They did, it definitely got re-released.
And you go down corridors, you turn there, and then you meet a horrible spider and you get your face bitten off.
Yes, that's essentially it. You go back and start again and try and take a different path. Yeah.
Well, there was no save.
No, that was it. Yeah, go back, rewind the tape.
Because I had a really duff tape recorder. Because back in the day, you used to have to, play it on a tape, didn't you? Spectrum, and it go dee dip dip.
Yeah, and you would hope it loaded.
You'd hope it
loaded.
Otherwise,
you'd wait half an hour, flash the screen.
My play button broke, so I had to hold it down for the whole 4 minutes.
Oh dear.
And then, if it didn't load, my thumb used to really. Sellotape didn't. I didn't think to ask my dad for a new one.
That would be the ultimate thing.
Yeah. So then what happened? So The Hobbit you really enjoyed. You really got into that.
I did. Yeah, I had fond memories of playing that. Obviously, several years later, I had an older brother, so I kind of inherited his spectrum,
Nice.
got on there as a kid. And obviously this influenced a lot of other people, and certainly Dungeons and Dragons carried on the idea of this kind of player progression and inventory and stuff. Kind of went on to influence a lot of the fantasy games in the 80s. So series like Might and Magic and Ultima, which are still around now. Might and Magic has Heroes of Might and Magic, and there's a card game that goes with it as well.
Oh, okay.
It's quite big, quite big.
Well, I was going to say, then one of the big daddies was Legend of Zelda.
Yeah, so this brings us up to kind of mid-80s, the Nintendo Entertainment System, the NES comes out in 85, and then around 85, 87 you've got Zelda and Final Fantasy.
Oh, of course.
Both come out. Lovely graphics for the time, and also kind of continuing that Western style adventure gameplay, but bringing in a Japanese and Eastern influence. Mixing up the combat a little bit, the party mechanics, and also the art style. Right. And this was kind of like a golden age, I think, of fantasy in video games. Really took off. And then unfortunately after that, it started to die down a little bit.
So what other games coming up then? Like sports games took off as well, didn't they?
Yeah, first-person shooters, the main thing. So basically kind of tied in with the new hardware coming out. So graphics got better, which meant you needed bigger teams to develop. And so traditionally, kind of up to that point, games have been kind of coming out annually. You needed a smaller team to make them. But to kind of carry on the big worlds and still have that level of polish, kind of started taking longer and longer. So it kind of fell out of favour a little bit. And it wasn't really kind of until the 90s again that they picked up with games like Diablo.
Yeah, now that's interesting because Diablo, I wanted to play. I think I even borrowed it off a friend, and my computer, my PC, wasn't up to spec.
Okay.
And I just sort of threw it across the room in anger because I just couldn't afford to buy another one. You know, and that's what I found with PC games. It was always, got enough spec.
Yes.
So that was frustrating, but it looked really good. But it's still going, isn't it?
It's still going. And they've carried on the series, and people still play the original. But I think that particularly captured people's imaginations. Apart from looking good, it was kind of a throwback in a lot of ways to the original fantasy game. So you had procedurally generated dungeons, but it also added this element of dark fantasy, which hadn't really been done before in games.
I was going to say, what popped into my head you said was Doom.
Yes.
I remember playing Doom and being amazed by that because you could just basically just run around and you could connect to other people.
Yes, so this is it.
Yeah, my mate had 2 PCs, so I would be in one room, he'd be in another room in his house, and we would basically just be in the same dungeon running around shooting each other. Yeah. So so Doom for me was a bit of a landmark, but also, and then what was it? Was it Quake? Was that one after?
Quake, yes.
Yeah. That came probably about 3 or 4 years after that.
Yes, that was after, again from id Software. And it had a lot of focus as well after that on the internet and multiplayer side of things.
Yeah. Because I remember Counter-Strike coming out, which isn't fancy, but that was the online one, I think the first online one I played.
Yes.
But again, my PC and the internet connection, it just kept crashing. I was like, this is rubbish. So hence why I've got an Xbox.
Okay.
Yeah.
But then kind of that leap forward as people started to get more connected and the success of Diablo, I think, pushed forward for the birth of World of Warcraft.
Which is one of the daddies.
One of the daddies now. Yes. Spawned many clones.
Did you get in on it then?
I didn't really.
No.
Fair enough. As influential as it was, I didn't really like the look of it. Also it had the monthly subscription model. Which kind of put me off. I kind of figured that I wouldn't get my value for money out of it.
Well, that's funny because at some point there was Asher's Call.
Yes, yeah.
That was similar, yeah. You go online.
Yeah.
And my PC didn't crash at that point. But yeah, it was the monthly subscription.
Yeah.
And then and as the months went on, I just played it less and less and less. I thought, actually, I'm not. This is wasted of money.
Yeah.
And so that's why I didn't get into World of Warcraft, because I thought the same thing's going to happen again.
No. But having said that, I did start playing games like Guild Wars, which was a similar situation, but just had a fee up front, and that was it. But again, it had a high fantasy setting, And I don't think games like that would have been developed had it not been for the enormous success of World of Warcraft.
Oh, totally. It all feeds into each other, doesn't
Yes,
it? And everybody, not in a good way, tries to outdo each other, don't they?
Yeah, there's a bit of one-upmanship there.
Yeah. And Dark Souls 3.
Yes.
Is that a favourite of yours?
That is. See,
I didn't get into it again because it's all to do with time.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
yes.
because these games are huge now. You can spend hours.
I think this is the thing, yeah. So I think that's partly one of the reasons why fantasy works so well on video games. And with books as well, and probably less so in terms of films and TV, is that I think what makes a good fantasy world successful is the world building itself.
Yeah, definitely. And you really feel like you're immersed in it.
Yeah, so I remember reading all the fighting fantasy books and everything else, and you would have the compendiums like the Titans, but poring over the maps, you had a whole world to explore, and even Lord of the Rings, what made it successful was the world that was built, and everything down to the languages and the customs of all the races. And then you just happen to follow a team of characters in that world, as opposed to kind of a lot of other genres, which is mainly about the main character and the protagonist drives the story.
But it's more about you, isn't it?
Yes, I mean, there are very few fantasy books or games that have the name of the protagonist in the title, as opposed to like Jack Reacher or
although my book,
your book,
The Legends of Grimace Ironblood.
Yeah.
Thanks. You've clearly not read it.
I think maybe there's your problem.
Thanks. We'll move on.
So next to you have
Skyrim.
Yes.
Skyrim. Now for me, this is one of the best ever video games ever made. It's extraordinary. I mean, I remember I used to do marketing and graphic design for a video game company. Well, they sold the video games and that, but we used to write reviews. Yeah. And so we got sent promo copies and stuff, and I remember getting Morrowind.
Yes.
But I unfortunately wasn't the one reviewing that, so I never got to play it. But I've got like a special edition one with a tin.
Oh,
comes
very
in a tin,
nice. Very nice.
And a little keyring.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. But it wasn't until Oblivion. And I got the 360X because I got out of video games for a while. And then Oblivion, I thought, oh my God, it's come on so much, obviously, from The Hobbit. Yeah. But I just couldn't believe it, how brilliant it was and how immersive it was. And it's open world. I love that. We can just go anywhere, do anything. And because that had been out for about 4 or 5 years, I literally only had to wait a year or so, and then this came out. Yeah. But yeah, you're into this.
I do. Yes. Yeah. It's fantastic.
Yeah. It's been what, 5 years, and I'm still playing it.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it keeps getting released, so a new platform will come out. It will come out again. It's just around the Switch.
But that is just one of the amazing games.
It is. But again, still uses very similar mechanics to those games back in the 70s in terms of leveling your characters and the inventory management.
That's true.
It owes a lot back to the old tabletop board gaming, like Dungeons and Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons, exactly. Yeah. Well, I think it is to do with it. For some reason, fantasy really lends itself to being the one, you want to be the one doing it. Yes. And you want to explore it. You don't. Well, you do kind of want to read about characters, but it's one of those things with video games, especially. Although saying that, I have been playing. I played Red Dead Redemption. Years ago, and I'm itchy to play Red Dead Redemption 2. Yeah. But you kind of think, like anything, it's just a re-skinning. They could have just done it as fantasy. Do you know what I mean?
Essentially, yeah.
Although there is different mechanisms. You do follow a character. Yes. Yeah. But Dark Souls 3, I do think I probably would get into Dark Souls.
It's definitely. I would urge everyone to play Dark Souls. I think it's probably my favourite gaming series of all time. Okay. I think not only is it a wonderful game, but I think it's probably also the best piece of fantasy ever created, which is quite a bold claim. Whoa. I appreciate that. Okay. But I think it's the combination of everything that has made everything else from Tolkien and everything else so wonderful. Right. Just kind of exemplified into this this brilliant world where you are just you're not a protagonist at all. You're just essentially a visitor. And you learn about the world and the worlds that have come before as you kind of traverse through it.
Okay, yeah, because there was a board game that was made.
Well, that's it. So a board game's been made. Yes, £1 million. Incredibly successful, and there's a card game now as well. No, and I think it's quite nice that kind of wheel of influence that we've had video games being influenced from the board games, and now we're making board games with the video games. It's quite nice.
And I think it's all this content. I don't like that word, but all this different things. Different medium. You know, as somebody that loves the genre, I will read, I will play board games, I will play video games. It's not just exclusive.
Yeah.
You know, you get involved in all of it.
Yeah.
You know.
And then one can open you up to the other. So a very popular gaming series recently has been The Witcher.
Oh yeah,
which is obviously
I've
based
not got into
on
that
the books.
either,
but
books,
I definitely argue that the gaming series is far more popular than the books.
Yeah.
Now there's a Netflix series coming out with Henry Cavill, bizarrely.
Yeah, yeah. I want to. The thing is now, I do want to actually. I kind of want to read the books and play the video game before I then.
Yeah, you don't have time. But good luck.
No, I know. Yeah, exactly. I know. Talking of time,
yes,
we better move on. And talking of fantastic, epic fantasy. But what we're going to do next is, of course, Happy Imp Day. It is Happy Imp Day on this day, 12th of November. Francois Auguste René Rodin, otherwise known as...
Yep.
Auguste Rodin.
Yeah, of course. Of course. Yep.
Yep, he was born on the 12th of November 1840, died in 17th of November 1917, aged 77. So I thought, you know, this ties in well. You're an artist. You do digital painting.
Yeah.
He was a French sculptor, although Rodin is generally considered the forefather of modern sculpture. He did not set out to rebel against the past. He was schooled traditionally, took a craftsman-like approach to his work and desired academic recognition, though he was never accepted into Paris's foremost art school.
No.
And I think there's something to be said about that. If you kind of fail your exams, or if you get rejected, keep going. If you love doing something.
I think history is littered with people who have come from that background, dropped out of school, and don't do that intentionally. Don't think something as an end.
To do that.
I think even Bill Gates famously didn't graduate. Or something, but he's done all right.
He did all right.
Yeah.
He's got a few bob. But also from a fantasy point of view, Auguste Rodin, because Auguste Rodin, I remember my mum showing me a book, and really loving the book of Auguste Rodin, and then I was lucky enough to go to Paris when I was about 18, 19, and I went to the Rodin museum, his house, and just beautiful sculptures there. And he also collected Impressionist paintings. Okay. So there's a floor of all his collection. He's got Van Goghs, he's got a lot. But from a fantasy point of view as well, he did create the Gates of Hell. Yes. A commission to create a portal for Paris's planned Museum of Decorative Arts was awarded to Rodin in 1880, although the museum was never built. Rodin worked throughout his life on the Gates of Hell, a monumental sculpture group depicting scenes from Dante's Inferno in high relief. Often lacking a clear conception of his major work, Rodin compensated with hard work and striving for perfection.
That's a lesson for us all.
There you go. There is a lesson.
There is.
Plus, I just also want to say is that fantasy can be seen as nerdy by some people, but you get mainstream artists like that. Fantasy is all about. It's about more than people actually give it credit for.
For sure.
Cool, but I tell you what I'm going to do now. I've got a little game for you.
Okay.
I don't know if you'll.
If I like this.
Yeah, exactly. I've got here the top 10 best fantasy video games of all time according to the critics. As of July 2018.
Okay.
So what they've done is reviews aggregated site Metacritic compiles all the reviews of games, then averages out those scores as an overall average. I then took out the top fantasy ones. So they did it on all of them.
Okay.
So obviously there are going to be some that aren't fantasy that will be higher.
Of course.
But these are just fantasy. So what do you think number 10 is then?
Number 10, I think probably Warhammer Quest 2: The End Times, available now on iOS and Android platforms.
You're going to say that for everyone. Fair enough. It is the... Well,
oh, no, go for it.
Well, I was going to say, it is the Elder Scrolls 5 Skyrim.
Really, at number 10?
Number 10.
Oh, I was going for number 1 for that.
Oh, there you go.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought that. I thought that as well, yeah. Number 9, what do you think?
The Witcher.
It is The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Is the rest just going to be Zelda games and Final Fantasy?
Well, what they did is I think they...
Do they compress them down?
Yeah, I think they... Yeah. Number 8.
Number 8, I will go for Morrowind.
Oh, that's a good choice, but no, it's Batman Arkham City.
Really? I would not have put that in fantasy.
Yeah, I know, I was umming and ahhing. I was umming and ahhing, but he's a big bat that flies.
Yeah, well,
yeah. I mean, that's another debate.
Okay.
Number 7.
Number 7, I will go for Final Fantasy 7.
Ooh,
just because it's a 7.
Resident Evil 4.
Again,
I know,
not what I would do.
But they got hellhounds. They got zombie dogs.
They got zombies.
Exactly, zombies. Yeah,
okay.
Zombies are fantasy.
So which number was that? Sorry.
That was number 7.
Oh no, so which Resident Evil?
Oh, that was number 4.
Number 4. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely not.
Number 6. Why do you go for number 6?
Oh, Red Dead Redemption. Why not?
Think more of a kids one.
Kids fancy.
I don't know what the theme tune is.
Mario.
Yay!
Really?
Super Mario Odyssey.
That's
fantasy. They've got mushrooms that bounce about.
I bow to you. You are the fantasy king. Yeah.
Okay, number 5. Oh, I did lie. It has been said before.
The Witcher.
No. It's been one.
Zelda.
Yeah,
Zelda.
Okay. But this one's Breath of the Wild.
Okay, is Majora's Mask in the top 4?
Well, we'll find out.
Okay.
We got
Wind
Super
Waker.
Mario.
Super Mario
Super Mario is Galaxy 2. Sorry, I didn't guess that one.
Yeah.
Number 3 is
Wind Waker.
Super Mario Galaxy.
Oh.
Sorry, I've totally misled you on this.
Okay.
And number 2. Oh, actually, number 2.
Number 2 is it one I've said?
No.
No. Is it another Final Fantasy title?
No,
it's not. Okay. Witcher 3?
Fantasy. No.
Okay.
Soul Calibur.
Soul Calibur, the 2D beat 'em up game. Yeah. No. I love the game.
No, but they've got
fantastic.
fantasy characters in it. Isn't there a dragon that comes in it? Okay.
There's Nightmare, who has a big sword. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Number 1.
Go on, number 1.
Number 1. It has been in the top 10 twice before.
Okay. Is it an Elder Scrolls game?
No.
Is it Zelda?
It is a Zelda one. Which one?
Wind Waker.
No.
Majora's Mask.
No.
Really?
It's got
Twilight Princess.
No. That was earlier.
That was I was paying attention.
Ocarina of Time.
I think. Yes.
See,
okay.
as you can tell, I bailed out after one Zelda game. I think. But I really love the Zelda ones.
They're very good. Yeah.
But I was surprised Skyrim was right down there.
I was as well. Yeah.
Number 10.
Okay.
There we go. We've got 3 minutes left.
Wow. Okay.
Yes. So what I'm going to quickly do then is let's talk about Terry Pratchett. We're doing a challenge, or I'm doing a challenge, and I failed for 2 weeks in a row because I was going to read one a week because there's 41 of the Discworld novels.
Okay.
But I am glad to say that I did read Moving Pictures again. I picked it back up. Have you read any Terry Pratchett?
I have. Yes.
Do you like them?
Yeah. Very much so. Very much so.
Yeah.
I think Mort is a particular favourite.
It is
Guards,
good.
Guards.
Yeah, Guards. But then I really enjoyed this one. It's
Okay.
obviously Moving Pictures is a take on Hollywood,
Yep.
isn't it? Very clever. And there was one bit, I don't normally read stuff out here, but I'm going to quickly read this out. It says here, "You know what the greatest tragedy is in the whole world," said Ginger. not paying, it's all the people who never find out what it is they really want to do or what it is they're really good at. It's all the sons who become blacksmiths because their fathers were blacksmiths. It's all the people who could be really fantastic flute players who grow old and die without ever seeing a musical instrument. So they become bad ploughmen instead. It's all the people with talents who never even find out. Maybe they are never even born in a time when it's even possible to find out. And I think that's amazing. So I've taken up the flute. No? Okay, so let's move on then. We've got one more little bit here. Oh, the Bottled Imp Show Live, of course. Julian's just reminded me. Bottled Imp Show Live. We are going to a live show. It's 7 p.m. UK time. No, it's not. 8 p.m. Hey, I'm drunk on shortbread. 8 p.m. UK time. November the 19th. That's a Monday.
It's next week.
It's next week, exactly. Yeah. Well, you know, I'm very number orientated in that respect. Yeah, so it's next Monday, basically. Monday the 19th. Join us for a live extravaganza. It's going to be at least an hour long. Whether you like it or not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I do want to do this as well. This is a fancy... I can never say it now. Charity fantasy shop find. There we go.
Okay.
Would you like to unveil? So I go to charity shops. Yeah, of course.
Thank you. Okay, here we go.
Here we go.
Drum roll.
This is what I found in a charity shop. Look at that. Hey.
That's wonderful.
1,000-piece jigsaw.
Okay.
1,000-piece jigsaw.
Good.
No, it's a castle. Of a castle somewhere.
Okay.
Where is it? In France.
Yeah.
That's where you're from, isn't it?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
And it has
Have
particularly relevant to the fantasy genre because... No, that was your bit.
Because they love fantasy.
Brilliant. Good. Okay.
No, what? Just what?
No, I don't.
Oh, yeah. Oh, no, it's a castle.
It is. It is. Yeah.
And fantasy castles.
Yeah.
I thought you meant France. No. Have a guess how much you paid for it?
£1.
Oh, Julian, how much?
Oh, yeah, you know, I'm going to say you probably paid $2.50 for it.
I did pay £2.50. Ripped off his charity!
That's it, do it.
I know. Well, I'm hoping to do it, and we'll video it and put it in the live show next week. And that's when I find out that there's 5 pieces missing.
Huzzah!
Huzzah! Anyway, that's all we've got time for. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. Let's do a formal handshake.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. And we didn't get time to actually chat about the Kickstarter campaign, which we've videoed this before the date closed, so we probably didn't fund. But don't worry, because we might be back with it as well. We will be. We'll engineer it. But thank you for those that backed it. Anyway, thank you again for watching. This has been a pleasure. And remember to keep it unreal, especially if you are Zelda. That's what it is.